Hello, this is Jose. Here I am again with my 2017 Mercedes S550 or W222. Today we're going to be cleaning the valves, and on the previous video I already showed you this and how do I clean the valves and how do I clean my turbos. But a couple of my subscribers mentioned a different way of doing it, and if I knew about it and if I like the way that's done. And we're gonna go through that, and I got you something even better. So, and what we did before was we spray the CRC intake valve and turbo cleaner on the inlet pipes. Okay, so we let the air go through the turbos with the spray, go through the turbos and come back to the intercooler and go into the engine. All right. So this method that we have in question right now is through a port that the engine has right in front, okay, right in the middle of the inlet pipes. After the turbos, they go into the intercooler, and right in the middle, and I'm going to show you all of these, but right in the middle there's a port, okay, that you can open and spray right there. So I'm going to show you why I don't like that, and why I keep liking the way I do it, but I'm also going to show you a different way, something that might be even better than both ways. Now, that middle piece, that port that we have right there, is a plastic piece that is getting really hot and is getting cold, and then it's getting really hot again, and that is happening a million times because you're starting the car, you're running the car, you're shutting it off. It's happening too many times. So that port is, it will potentially break, and then you have problems. Finding that piece is going to be hard. I don't know if you noticed, but I have an intake right here, an intake manifold, and I have the intercooler. So the intercooler is mounted on the manifold, but and I'm going to show you that. So that piece that from the port on this one is missing. I'm guessing either somebody was already missing that and took it out of this one, or it was just missing on this one. This one came out of GL450, so it's the same engine is M278 engine. So they're the same exact thing. Everything is the same. All right. So I'm gonna open the hood. I'm gonna show you where that port is, and then I'm gonna show you all my loose parts that are there, where that is, and then I'm gonna show you the way we're gonna do it today. So, and the way we're gonna do it today, we're only going to clean the valves. We're not gonna clean the turbo anymore. But even though now we don't need it anymore. So let's go through that, and I'm gonna open the hood and get everything prepared. So let's go. Okay, so here we are with our engine. I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. So the way I did it before, I did it through the inlets on both sides, and the reason I did that is because the oil comes back into the engine through here. Okay, the oil's been dumping here. Well, not that much oil, just a little bit of oil, because from the centrifuge, the centrifuge is always turning and getting all that oil out before it lets the oil and the gases out. And if you don't know what that is, in previous cars we had an oil separator, and that's what that is. But the centrifuge is connected into the camshaft, so that's why it's always rotating and making that force. With all that force, all that oil just gets spilled around, and only the gases come out. But of course, it's not a perfect, 100% perfect system. So a little bit of oil still goes through, and it goes back into the pipe. It goes through the turbos, and then into the intercooler, and back into the engine through the valves. And that's why we have all these soot and everything that gets dirty in there on top of the valves. And of course, we know with direct injection, we don't have that gas going on top of the valves to be able to clean it, so we have to clean it somehow. And I'm going to show you the port. So the port that we're talking about is right here, okay? You see this little solenoid right here, so we go on the bottom right here is that valve, and I'm going to show you a little bit on that intake that I have in there. But it's right in the middle. You won't be able to miss it. It has a little stem so you could turn it. Now let me see if I can get a close up on this. It's right here. This is the piece. Okay. There, so you won't be able to miss this right in the middle of the two hoses that are connecting the return pipes. All right, let's get this settled again. So you can turn that, you know, if you're lucky, won't break, and then you can spray there. Oh, that's the way some people have been doing it, and that's the way my subscribers were asking me if it was the right way or if I would do it that way. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't like that idea. I better that one. I like the idea of bringing the spray through here because it'll get spread out a little more. It'll also clean the turbos, clean the lines, all that oil, all the sediment that's in there, and then we'll go back in through the intercooler, and then of course back into the engine and on top of the valve. So it'll clean the valves and all of that, but I'm gonna bring the intercooler so that you can see what I'm talking about. So here's where the manifold is, where it goes. And here's the intercooler. All right, so this is what's in there, okay? This is where that little knob goes. This is the port, okay, right in the middle of the two hoses, like I was showing you, right in the middle. So this piece probably broke on these, and that's why it's not a good idea to do it here. And also, look at this. I don't know if you're able to see there, but I think so. The coil is right in there. See, the coil is right there. Same thing with that port. Coil is right there. Okay. So, look, I put my finger, I can touch it. I can touch the coil. So if you spray, you're spraying directly into that coil. And of course you shoot back because it's right there. The coil is right there. Look at that. So you're spraying directly into that, and you know it's all going to fall down, and that eventually is going to get all dragged into the engine over the valves and all that. But look, it's right there. This is the little space that is between the coil and this port. All right. Okay, so now let's work on this so we can see, and I'm going to show you what I want to do. So this is in here. To be able to take these off, you have to take all these bolts around, okay, and then it will come off. This goes on top of the intake of the intercooler, but the intercooler is bolted from the bottom, so these are the bolts for the intercooler, okay. 4 bolts are holding it to the intake. And here is where the throttle body goes. Oh, and so that we're going to spray the throttle body also, and we're going to spray this old one with the spray to see how it does on these, okay, how the CRC does on just, we're spraying it on this and see if it cleans it or not, because this one is dirty. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that on camera, but it's all dirty. And I cleaned it outside to make it more presentable, but inside is dirty. It has a lot of suds in there. And the same thing with throttle body. We'll spray a little bit, see how it does, even though there's a special spray for throttle body, but let's see how it does with that spray from CRC. So this goes in the back. It's like this. If you ever have to do work on your throttle body, you have to take these out. It's in here. You have to make sure you change all your gaskets again. You can't put the old gaskets back, okay? So throttle body just has a hose that connects to the, with clamps to this piece. And in the back, right there is in the back. This is the ECU. You take that ECU, it goes right here. You take that off, you take the wiring, all of that. It comes off with a few hoses, of course, that are connected into the intercooler. But in the back, this is what we see in the back, okay? There's two ports, this one and this one. And on this one, which is that side of the engine, the passenger side, on this side is where the centrifuge is connected, okay? It connects here, and this has a vacuum, so it's pulling this stuff from the centrifuge, okay? And on the other side is also another vacuum port, okay? There's two ports, okay? And this port is where I want to put my spray, okay? Of course, it's not gonna be in the back because I will have to take the computer out, I will have to take all the wiring out, it's gonna be a big mess. So it's there's another way of doing that without taking everything apart, because this port right here on this side has a hose that goes all the way to the front. So it's right here, okay? So that port has a hose that comes from under the filter. It goes here all the way to the front, and it goes down into our purge solenoid, okay? What's the purge solenoid? The purge solenoid is taking all of the gases and fumes from your gas tank, okay, and putting them into the cylinders to get burned, all right? So years ago, that wasn't something that was included in cars. So that gas come from the gas tank. It comes, all those fumes come from with a hose connecting to this purge solenoid, and from the other side of that purge solenoid goes into our second port in the back of the manifold. So, like I said, that hose come all the way through. There's a line that connects right into the purge solenoid. So I'm going to show you on this under here, under this cover. So this is the solenoid or the purge solenoid, and like I said, this pulls the fumes out of the gas tank and puts them back into the engine, so they could get burned, okay? So it doesn't just go to the air and pollute the air. So it comes into this valve, and this is a normally closed valve. It's not gonna work if the car is off, okay? There's no power, this thing is closed, and that's one way to know if this one is not working. You take it out, and if you blow on one side and the air just keeps going, is damaged, it's not working, because it's supposed to be closed when there's no power. The moment you put power to it, then it's supposed to open, okay? So one of the lines come from the back of the engine, from the back of the car. It goes right into the tank in the back, and the other line goes, like I said, through here under the filter, and it goes into that port in the back of the manifold. So let's get some stuff out so we can see that. Let's get these out. So this line right here, okay, on the bottom, it goes through here, it comes up and under the filter, and it goes back and connects into that. And it has a check valve on the other side, because you don't want those gases to come back. So that goes in and it stays there. If the car shut off and there's gases there that didn't, or fumes that didn't get burned, they just stay there. The check valve won't let it come back. Now, so we're gonna separate this line that comes from there, and we're gonna put a T here. All right, so we're gonna take it out, put that T, and on one side of that T is where we're gonna start spraying. The car will still be pulling the fumes from the gas tank, and we'll spray that into the same line. I like to have my car running as it was in normal operation. All right, so one of the things I love about this car is, one of the many things I love about this car is that we can raise the suspension. So I raised the car so I can work a little better. So this is higher. The video is a little better. It's closer, and so that's also more comfortable for me to work because this is kind of low. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna grab these hoses, very inexpensive items here. 11/30 is this hose, and this is emissions hose. Okay, here we go, 11/30, and it's the same size hose that is in there already. It's of course not the one Mercedes uses, but is a hose that is used for the same application. So and it's the same size. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect that hose, and we are going to connect that hose on this side. Okay, over the T. We're going to connect that here. Our sprayer is going to be here. Okay, I put a couple of smaller size hoses so I can connect my sprayer here. Okay, and that way I don't have to worry about stuff going in, debris. Even though, like I said, you have to go with air pressure with around the engine, make sure there's no debris here. And then this other side is going into the purge solenoid. Okay, so let's see how we do with this. While I do this, you're not gonna be able to hear me, so I'm just gonna do what I have to do, and I'll either add some audio or I'll explain it to you later. But this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this line in here. We're gonna get into the same vacuum line, okay? Because this system is pulling the gases to the same place where we want to go, and it's going to burn in there. So this is the same thing, same principle. This is burning the gases, and we want to burn the stuff that's already there that is putting sluggish on our engine. So we're going to clean all those debris with these, and we're also going to spray, like I said, the extra intake that I have over there, and spray the intercooler to see how we do, so we could see, because we can't see the inside the engine right now. We can't see the valves. It's way too much work to be able to go and see what the valves look like and what's the before, what's the after, but we'll be able to see the before and after on those extra pieces over there. So as I said, the oil escapes the engine and it goes into our turbo, and it goes into our valves through the intake, of course. And that's because that's what the engine is supposed to do. All the gases that are coming out of the car, all the fumes, they get recycled and reburned, so there's not many emissions, so that we don't pollute the air. And the way we do it with this car is through the centrifuge, and that centrifuge is connected to the crankshaft. Okay, so that movement, this pin of the centrifuge is making that oil get away from that space and letting just air out. Of course, a little bit of oil is going to go. Like I said, nothing is perfect. This is not 100% perfect. So some oil is going to go, and it does go into our lines, and it goes through our turbos and comes back and stays on top of the valves, because the fuel is not able to clean it. And that centrifuge used to be the PCV valve or the oil separator valve. Okay, the difference is that before, the PVC valve wasn't able to come and recycle that air. It will get the gases out, but it wouldn't bring it back into the engine. And if you're familiar with older cars, with carburetors and all that, when before we had all these emissions stuff, there's a hose that goes straight into the ground. So with older cars and in all the years and in previous years, when all these cars were running on the highway and on the streets, you always saw a line of oil, and that's where it came from. That's the PVC valve that got the gases out with oil, and they dump it right down into the ground. So with all the emission laws and all that stuff, so now they created this thing so there's not that much pollution coming out of cars, and it recycles the gases, recycles that oil, it goes back into the engine, but at the same time it's also getting stuff dirty. And what we're trying to accomplish is clean everything with this. Okay, it's also important to know that Did this about 2,000 miles ago. Okay, you cannot do this too often. Okay, you make more damage than you're gonna help your car. So you're supposed to be doing or get on a schedule maybe every 10,000 miles and clean your valves, but don't do it too often. The minimum has to be at least 1,000 miles. All right. So like I said, I did it when I did my first video. It was 2,000 miles. So let's try right now and see how we do. Okay. This the car has to be running for all of these. The car has to be warm. The car was running a little earlier, so I know the car is warm. I'm just gonna set everything up so I can start spraying. And we're gonna get that hose out right here. Okay, right here by the solenoid valve, by the purge solenoid. So we go around the hose. We're gonna do the same thing we did with the vacuum valve. Okay, with the vacuum pump valve. When we replaced that, we took one of the hoses out, and right now we heard some air escaping, but that's normal. So there's really fumes, but it shouldn't be that much. So we gotta get this hose unstuck before we are able to pull it out. This is the big helper, the tool, the pick tool. Help you put this hose out, and here it is. Here's our line. Now this is going back. So we started the car, we're spraying the chemical, and it has to be in a sequence. You can't spray it all at once. You spray it for a second and let the spray go for another second. You're gonna see the car startle a little bit. It's normal. So just follow the instructions on the bottle. Watch my other video. You'll see how you put things together with the two videos. And this one, the only difference is, of course, the way we are doing it. We're using this T and the hoses and going through this vacuum line that is connected into the port in the back of the intake. And now we're gonna fast forward so you don't have to sit here and watch the entire time I was spraying because it's a while. Okay, so the engine is very hot right now. It got up to 200 degrees because it was running, of course, at 2,000 RPMs and just sitting there. But now we gotta let the car sit for about an hour, and then we'll go out for a drive on the highway, and so that it finishes cleaning. And we gotta take these apart, of course, put everything back to normal. It's gonna be hot. So if you want to follow the entire directions of how to use this, well, you see it on the bottle, but I have everything on the other video. On this one, you know, everything is just the same procedure, just the where you connect it is where it's different. So if you want to see this again, that's that T, two hoses on each side, one on each side, and then on one side I just put a little smaller attachment so I could put the straw in from the CRC sprayer. Okay, and we push this back. Okay, and that's it, as simple as that. Like I said, we gotta wait for 1 hour now. So we're gonna try spraying that in the intake manifold that we have, and also on the throttle body, and see if that cleans some of that out. So, and the bottle will tell you that you would normally spray these on the throttle body, but on this car it's extremely difficult to get into that. We're not gonna take everything apart to spray it because how are we gonna turn it on? But this way, with this approach, we are going to the throttle body, okay? Because this port is right before the throttle body, okay? So we're spraying right in there. It goes through that hose into that port, and the throttle body is right there, so it's pushing it right into the throttle body, and then it goes into the valves. Okay, so and then that oil, you might be questioning yourself, okay, so how does that oil go back into the engine if there's oil in there? Okay, so there's gaps between the rings and the cylinder walls, and the oil goes right back in through there. Okay, so let's let it sit, and we go for a ride and see how we did. But I'm really curious to see how the spray does with the manifold. Let's see how that looks. Okay, we have an hour to spare here, so let's see. Yeah, this looks really bad. Wow, it's like a lot of dirt in there, and it's hard. So here's where the throttle body goes. It goes right through here. See, we can put this together here. The intercooler is a little heavy, so that's why I took it apart. I don't want to be dragging this thing around. So this is where the throttle body goes, right in there. Okay, here's the throttle body, and that will go in there, right here. Okay, of course the wiring has to go around and all of that to be able to fit in there. And then of course the bolts are in there in place where that goes. And then this is upside down, so we put that in there. And that is why you have to take the whole thing apart to be able to work on the throttle body, or take it out, or whatever you have to do with the throttle body. It's a big job, totally doable, but a lot of work. We have two hoses here that have to be disconnected. We have the hoses that come from the turbos, and this is the one that goes to the reservoir. Of course, this won't be completely accurate or as good as in the engine, because this is not hot. This is not dissolving it with the heat. But just the spray, I want to see how good or how bad it is. But it looks like it's good, because everything is just dropping down. It's going to the bottom. I don't know if you're able to see this, but let's see with the light. See how that's what we're doing. We're spraying in the back, and it's going through every single one of those, okay? The spray is coming out of every single one of them. And that's how it's spraying into the engine. So we are, of course, spraying into one of the ports, into this one. Well, actually, this one actually. We're spraying into these, but everything is, of course, closed. This is the throttle body. Look at all these. He cleaned it nicely. Oh yeah, definitely. And if this had heat, it will definitely be a lot more coming out. Very dirty. Took out all this black stuff out of there. Wow. If this product did that with the parts being cold, I can only imagine what's happening inside that engine. Everything is coming out. Look how bad that is. So that's it, guys. I hope you liked the video. This is the second way of doing it, or what I like to do with my car. I don't really like the other option where you spraying. Like I said, I already told you my reasons and showed you why. But watch the two videos. Put your senses together, and then if you still want to go through the middle, it's your car. You do what's best for you. What you want to also find what's easier for you, the way you want to work on your car. So watch more videos. See what other people are doing. See what you like better. It's put everything together. Don't do just what one person is saying or another. I like the fact that one of my subscribers suggested it, and he was going out and look at other videos to see what's best for him. So uh, watch more videos. The more you watch, the better. And always, anytime you're going to start something, you're going to start a job, watch as many videos as you can so you could get very familiar with the process, and that way you'll get it done. And it's also a good idea to record yourself, or take pictures at least of what you're doing, so that when you're putting things back, everything goes back the way it should, and you don't miss anything. You don't ever want to have an extra bolt left, like it in most cases happens when you're putting something together. There's always a screw that's left, but you don't want that to be the case in your car. So be careful. Be careful with spraying. Don't breathe that spray. And maybe in the back of the engine, you can still just go and unplug that without, removing the ECU or cables or all of that. Maybe you're able to take that off, but the connection there to that port is a little different. So finding a connection for that would be a little difficult, even though you could probably get that line and cut the ends of it and then put it into a T. But it's just easier, I think, in the front, the way I showed you, and you can easily spray it. You saw it in the video. I hope you liked it, like I said, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.